This might be one of the coolest chess positions and one of the greatest rapid chess games I've ever played. Alright, this was from a couple days ago, a game I was playing on live stream, and I had not one, not two, not three, but four brilliants in this game. Alright, I had previously sacrificed a pawn to try and delay my opponent's development. You can see that was kind of successful because the enemy king has not castled. I have a rook already on an open file. My opponent hasn't completed development here, and it looks like I have a very threatening check with queen to d6. Looks like the natural progression. But after queen to d6, for example, you can go king to g7, and there's no real follow-up. White is still better because, once again, he has better development, but I was looking for more out of the position, right? One of the things you need to do is try and maximize the value when you have the better position, right? Try and cash in as much as humanly possible, and that's what led me to look for this move, all right? The first brilliant on the board, knight to h5. The idea, it looks just crazy, but it takes away this square, right? And it's also threatening the bishop, and it's threatening checkmate. Now, if you take the knight, what happens? Now bishop to h6, and black is getting checkmated because he no longer has the g7 square for his king to flee to. You can block with the bishop, but I just go queen check. The king is forced back, and I play rook to e8, checkmate. Alright, so this was the first brilliant. Now my opponent's 2400, very strong op, so he's going to see that it was going to be checkmate, so he retreats the bishop. And now it looks like, okay, white is still much better here. He has control of the g7 square. I no longer can move my queen to d6 though, because the bishop now guards the square. It looks like bishop to h6 is just the natural progression for the position, right? But once again, I am looking for more. I know my opponent is very strong, but right now I have him squirming. He's in a terrible position with not a lot of his army developed. His king is in peril, and his queen is on the wrong side of the board to help out. So I'm looking to cash in ASAP, no Rocky. Which leads me to this next move. Queen to d6. Back-to-back brilliance, alright? And if you capture the queen, oh, baby. The bishop swoops over to h6. The king is forced to g8 because, remember, this path is completely cut off by the rook on the open file, and it's just checkmate with the knight and the bishop. The king is completely smothered in by his own pieces. Alright, once again, Ops, very strong player, not gonna fall for this. So they play the only move on the board to stay alive, knight to c6, defending the bishop. And now it's like, okay, I mean, there's nothing left here, so I gotta do something, right? What do you do if there's no more, if there's no forcing threat, if there's no checkmate on the board, but your opponent is in peril? You add more fuel to the fire, alright? I played bishop to g5! Once again, it's just crazy. You add more fuel to the fire. The queen has been hanging 2 moves in a row. But once again, obviously, it looks like I'm hanging 3 pieces at once here. You can't capture the bishop because of the pin, right? But the knight is hanging on h5, the queen is hanging on d6, and the bishop is just loose on g5. But if black captures any of these pieces, it's just game over on the spot. Oh my goodness. Alright, this is gorgeous. Oh my goodness. So once again, my opponent, very strong player, he sees this, he plays knight take, or pawn takes knight on h5. Alright, he's like, you know what? I'm not getting mated, but I got to do something. I can't bring my queen in. She's completely hemmed in, right? There's no way for her to get into the position. This rook is trapped. This rook can't go anywhere. May as well take some material and try and hold on. I play queen to h6, and if you go king to g8, or if you go king to g8, white is still better here, but instead, my opponent went king to e8. Now, after king to g8, for example, then, I don't know what that was. King to g8. Sorry, queen to h6. King to g8. Alright. That was just rook takes e7. Knight takes e7. Leads to checkmate. Bishop to f6. And now, if black... I believe black can survive this position if they give up significant amounts of material. You go knight to f5. King over 1. And, I mean, black is technically alive here. Everything is hanging. But this position isn't like, you know... Let's see. Queen takes f5. If you try and go rook to g8 or something, you just capture on h7, you're threatening checkmate. Black can try and survive this position, alright, but hopping them back into the main game, I got a little sidetracked by that line. After bishop to g5, pawn takes h5, queen to h6, king over to e8, and now, once again, Levy would love this, we sacrifice the rook! Alright, everything has been hanging, we're down a piece, and now we just sacrifice the rook. Oh, baby! Obviously, black takes back. You don't have to take back. I think even here was probably a better try. But after rook to e8, alright, another brilliant. I wish my opponent would have let me play this. King takes e8, rook to e1. There's no way for black to survive this position. He's going to get checkmated. You know, I just bring the rook over. There's another battery I take. You can try and go king to f7, but bishop f4, king to d8 or c8. It doesn't matter, right? You go either square, queen to c6. All right. In a 10-minute game, being able to spot all of this, I was looking for the most forcing moves on the board. That's how I'm able to come up with these calculations. Obviously, you can see from my time usage, I'm still using a lot of time for a 10-minute rapid game. After the knight recaptures on e7, I play queen to f6, and now I'm hitting both the rook on h8 and the knight on e7. And here, obviously, my opponent has to guard against mate, so they play the move pawn to d5, and now they're thinking, okay, my opponent's going to capture the rook, and I'm not up a rook anymore, but I survive after king to d7. The rook attacks the queen. There's no follow-up check, so black gets a chance to breathe. But I ignore the rook here and play rook to e1, and the game just ends on the spot. All right, rook to e1. Remember, it's very important to remember the king is already moved, so castling is not a legal option. It is only possible if your king is not moved, right? And after rook to e1, I'm threatening rook takes e7. If you go anywhere, any piece that isn't like here, for example, you just take the queen, or sorry, take the rook, takes, right, and you're losing the queen. I mean, just GG, all she wrote. Any queen move, you're getting mated. So my opponent plays king to f8, trying to stay alive. And now, obviously, after rook takes e7, I'm threatening mate on f7 here. It's very hard to stop. You have to play queen takes, and I mean, black is losing no matter what. But I went for the most forcing line. Like, you know, this was a really nice game. I thought it deserved a nice finish. So I played queen takes h8, knight to g8, bishop to h6, GG, all she wrote. All right, this is one of the nicest games I've ever played in Rapid. I hope you guys got as much enjoyment out of it as I did. All right, 4 brilliance, not something you see every day. But thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it as always, all right? Thank you so much again.